Welcome, Your Excellency. You've recently been named Special Envoy on Climate Change, and the UAE just announced its second NDC. What is the UAE's approach to contributing to the global effort to overcome the challenge of climate change?
Hello, Amos. I'm very happy to see you and to speak to you. And let me just say hello to everyone participating at the Atlantic Council Global Energy Forum. Those who know the UAE well know that we have always made a positive contribution to helping address global challenges. And the challenge of climate change is no different. We not only talk the talk, we walk the walk. And we have seen firsthand how smart investment and diversifying the energy mix can pay off. When we started Masdar 15 years ago, solar and wind were high cost, nascent energy sources, but today they are very cost competitive. We were the first country in the region to sign the Paris Accords and the NDC that we submitted last month. This makes us the first country in the region to commit to an economy-wide emission reduction. Our approach to climate change reflects our leadership's dedication to addressing global challenges. And we do this in close partnership with international community and with all kinds of partners from all over the world.
I remember in the spring of 2016, I toured Masdar together with then Vice President Biden, tomorrow about to become President Biden. Over the last 4 years, in addition to chairing Masdar, you've also been the CEO of ADNOC. How do you see those roles aligning, especially now as you come to the global stage as the UAE Climate Change Special Envoy?
I remember that visit by the incoming President Biden so well. It actually feels like it happened only a few days ago. And I remember in particular how important sustainable development and sustainability in general was to the incoming president. It is clear how much focus he intends to give to climate change as part of his agenda. Now, getting back to your question, you asked me about how these roles in a way fit together. And I'm glad, Amos, that you asked me this question because I know that it crosses many people's minds. Rather than being in conflict, I believe working across the energy mix has given me a deeper understanding of the entire energy system. And based on this, it is clear that the hydrocarbon industry simply has to be at the center of the conversation on climate change. And most importantly, oil and gas has to play a role to be part of the solution. And the fact is, the world will still rely on oil and gas for many decades to come. So this industry, the oil and gas industry, can and must play an important role in the transition to a lower carbon future. Here, the UAE has a dual advantage. A leadership that has always put environmental stewardship and environmental protection first, and a natural advantage because our geology gives us some of the least carbon-intensive oil in the world. In addition, we are exploring the potential of new fuels such as hydrogen, which could be a game changer in the energy transition. We already here in ADNOC produce about 300,000 tons of hydrogen a year as part of our current industrial processes. We are currently exploring the viability of markets in Asia and in Europe as those markets progress and develop. We will build the business case that could position us, Abu Dhabi and the UAE, as a major player and a major supplier of blue hydrogen worldwide.
I was wondering, as we come into a new administration here in the United States with President Biden and Vice President-elect Harris, how do you see the opportunities for collaboration specifically between the UAE and the United States on all these areas that you just discussed that you're doing from the UAE? What are the areas of cooperation and collaboration that you see possible in the near future?
As you know, Amos, the UAE and the US have a deep-rooted, very strong, long-standing relationship based on shared values and strategic interests. We are very aligned in many areas, such as promoting peace, creating opportunity, and enabling progressive prosperity. The Abraham Accord is a very good example. In fact, it's a prime example. With US diplomatic support, we created a bridge for the first time between Israel and the Gulf countries. And this agreement in particular is already creating economic opportunity for the whole region. And as both our countries emerge from the pandemic, I believe there are great opportunities for collaboration across the energy sector, and I'm sure across a variety of many other sectors.
How should the industrial world balance those needs of economic development and the basic needs to be able to supply their own people with necessary needs in the emerging economies with the need for a global and universal climate change action?
The COVID experience has shown us that when humanity comes together, there is no challenge we can't overcome. While COVID and climate change are two very different challenges, they have three factors in common. They are both global, they respect no borders, and they require a collective, united response. And just as we have with COVID, the UAE will lead as a responsible global citizen, and it will use its convening power to help advance global progress when it comes to addressing climate change. A great example, aside from Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week itself, is the upcoming Dubai Expo, which will be the first expo hosted in our region. It will be focused on uniting the world around equitable solutions to sustainable development. I fundamentally believe that we can achieve climate goals while ensuring economic progress if we avoid one-size-fits-all policies. Reducing carbon is something we can all agree is a common goal, but it should not undermine the ability of emerging economies to give their people a better future. So I am very much looking forward to COP26. I know for a fact the UAE will play an important role. I know for a fact that the UAE again will play a proactive and a productive and a progressive role in helping achieve the global objectives in addressing climate change.